Imagine a female distance swimmer. She's been swimming for 15 hours in the ocean of the Pacific. She's been swimming in shark-infested waters. The winds are blowing and the waters are rough. And she has a goal to swim from Catalina Island to the coast of the California mainland. She has a rescue boat next to her, but she wants to make it. This is a goal that she's had. She's already managed to swim the English Channel. And this woman has an incredible goal and vision for what she desires to accomplish. Well, the winds are blowing, the waves are high, the shark-infested waters are around her, and yet for 15 hours she continues to swim. And she's determined. And yet now there is the fog that starts rolling in. Deep, deep, deep fog. She can't see. She can't have any sight ahead of where she's going. And after 15 hours of swimming, you can imagine the exhaustion and the discouragement and the battle that she's waging with the elements around her and also within. She ultimately decides that she just can't make it, in part because the fog is so thick that she just can't see where she's going, and she has no idea how close she is to that shoreline. So she gets in the rescue boat and realizes after she's been in the rescue boat and they make it to shore that she was only like 1 mile away from the shoreline. Now, this is the true story of Florence Chadwick, a swimmer that attempted this swim the 4th of July of 1952. Now, the thing about this story is I think it has a lot of parallels to being out there in the dating world. Does it ever feel like it's just exhausting? And like the winds are blowing against you and the waves are around you and there might even be a few sharks out there and you don't want to give up and get in the rescue boat, but you can't see. You can't see when or where or if your man is coming. You can't see where you're going. Well, this is exactly the reason why it's so important to have a crystal clear, inspiring vision of what you most want in your love life to help you go from being single, alone, perhaps frustrated or discouraged, into being inspired and excited about the possibility of meeting and attracting the right man and having a step-by-step plan to do so. I'm sharing some key elements to help buoy you up when the winds and the waves and the sharks and the exhaustion is around you and you feel like quitting, but you're almost there. You're that close to the shore. You just might not be able to see it due to the fog. See, this is what happens to us when we're out there in the dating world. I know because I've been there and I've supported so many women from this place of not knowing where, when, or how they're going to meet and attract the right man. And it feels like you're caught in a deep fog and you can't see where you're going. You can't see the shoreline. You can't see the destination. So one of the first things that we need to do, and that's what I'm here to talk to you about today, is we need to clear that fog. So oftentimes that means we need to dust off that dream and dust off that vision of what it is you most deeply want, deeply desire, why that's important to you, what that might look like, what that kind of man might be like in your life, so that you can hold that vision in your mind and heart and you can stay true to that shoreline. You can have your eyes toward that shoreline, no matter the wind and the waves and the sharks and the fog that might come your way. One of the things that I do with my clients is I help them to refine an inspiring vision that keeps them inspired through all of what might feel the roller coaster ride or the ups and downs of the dating world out there. And I hold that vision for them in my mind and heart. And I'm here because I want to hold that vision for you in my mind and heart of what you most deeply desire in your love life. So we sometimes have to dust off the vision because if we've been out there in what feels like swimming through the shark-infested waves and water and exhaustion and fog, it can be really difficult to hang on to that vision, hang on to that hope. So we've talked about a couple of important things already. We've talked about the importance of you being clear about who you are and your true identity of a woman as a woman of high value, and how making your decisions in dating and in life from that place is so essential and so important. We've also talked about clearing some of the obstacles, clearing some of the past fears, hurts, beliefs, stories, things that might be holding you back internally. When a swimmer is out there, like the distance swimmer that I'm sharing this story about, Florence Chadwick, she has to have her mind game right. She has to have her inner GPS system turned on. She has to have that vision of where she's going, and she can't have the fear and the doubt and the feelings that she can't do it or that it's not possible, or that's going to sabotage her in her attempt to make this distance swim. And sometimes it feels like a distance swim when we're out there in the dating world. Believe me, I understand. Believe me, I know it. And yet, some of the biggest, most important, most significant things that human beings have ever accomplished in life have all started with a crystal clear vision of what they want and where they're going. And then the next step is also having a plan on how to get there. And that's why I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Mr. Right Academy as we go through, because it can be hard sometimes to do this alone. It's like Florence Chadwick had the rescue boat there for her to help give her encouragement, to help give her strength, and ultimately to give her a hand if she needed that. That's what we do for each other in the Mr. Right Academy program. That's what my coaching business is all about, because I'm so passionate about helping women meet and attract the right man to have a loving, committed partnership, relationship, or marriage, whatever your vision is for you. Someone that treats you well, that loves you, cherishes you, and adores you, that you can share your life with, that you can build something beautiful with. That's what I'm taking a stand for. So I'm beginning today by taking a stand for you, for your vision. Now, I want you, this is the invitation, I want you to take a stand for yourself. I want you to dust off that vision, and I want it to be so clear and so inspiring that despite whatever obstacles, the winds that blow, the waves that come up, the sharks that are in the water, or the deep, dense fog, that you're going to be able to stay clearly focused on that shoreline ahead. At a future date, Florence Chadwick did officially make this swim, Catalina Island, to the coast of California. She successfully made the swim. And in looking back in retrospect to the swim where she actually got into the rescue boat when she was only a short distance from shore, she said, "If I could have seen the shore, I know I could have made it." So that's what we're going for. We want you to be able to see the shore, however dim or out there it might feel right now, or that it might have seemed. We want to get that crystal clear vision of where you're going in your mind. So oftentimes when I'm speaking with clients or women that I'm working with, or we're doing exercises or things in our Mr. Right Academy group, one of the things that I often ask is, if you could have anything you wanted in terms of a relationship within the next 6 months to a year, what would that look like? So what I'm asking you, first of all, to do is to define what you really want, because this can get a little wishy-washy at times. For example, sometimes I'll ask women this question and they'll say, well, I've always kind of wanted to be married, but, I guess it'll depend on the guy, and if he wants marriage, and maybe I'm a little older now, and maybe that doesn't make sense. I don't know. What I want you to do right now is let go of any fear, doubt, cynicism, or what you think someone else might want, including a man out there, and focus on what you most want. What do you most want? If you could have anything you want, suspend the fear, the doubt, the cynicism. If you could have anything you want in terms of a relationship within the next 6 months to a year, what would that look like? For me, it was a simple statement. I wanted to meet and marry the man of my dreams. Now, there's more to that, but that was a simple statement that was very clear for me. I wanted marriage. I wanted that kind of partnership where I was sharing my life and building my life in a relationship that felt like there was a deep commitment, a deep love, a deep affection, a deep respect, and a deep caring for each other, right? And so the first thing I want you to do is I want you to define what it is you most want in a clear and concise statement. And then I want you to think about if you had that in exactly the way you wanted to have that, what would that provide for you? For me, I felt like it would provide security, peace, love, affection, warmth, someone to rely on, someone to share my life with, someone to share experiences with, something to build with, someone to build with. Because I even had a dream back then, even before I was married, to build a business like this. That was one of the things that I wanted to build, but I wanted to build a life with someone, to create memories with, to create a legacy with, to travel with, to have fun with, to laugh with, to have support with, to have someone who is there with me in the good times and in the bad times. My husband sometimes says, having the right person in your life doubles your joys and divides your sorrows. Now, I can tell you in almost 19 years of marriage, my husband and I have had a lot of joys. We've also had a lot of sorrows. We've had some very difficult and challenging things that we've gone through together. But wow, what a difference it's made to not have to go through those things alone, to have each other and to celebrate each other's joys and successes and the things that we've shared together that have been such happy and beautiful and inspiring events. So what I want you to do is answer this question, write it down, and type it up, put it somewhere where you're going to see it every day. If you could have anything you wanted in terms of a relationship within the next 6 months to a year, what does that look like? What would you most like to have? And then take it one level deeper and say why, in terms of what would that provide for you? Why would that be so meaningful? Why would that be so significant? Why would that be so important for you? Right? Because that is the kind of inspiration that begins you on the trajectory of being able to move forward in a powerful way without being swept away with the winds and the tide and the waves and the sharks and the fog. You're not going to lose your direction so fast because you're going to keep reconnecting to that, just like you're going to keep reconnecting to knowing your own value and banishing those thoughts that are self-sabotaging. You're going to stay true to your vision. So I want you to begin there, and I invite you to do that right now. Someone's ringing my doorbell. I'm going to ignore it. That's someone's Mr. Right at my door right there, right? That's a sign. That's a sign that your Mr. Right is closer than you think. Closer than you think. You can't always see it, but just because you can't see it right now because of the fog, it doesn't mean it's not out there. You are closer than you think, especially if you get on this trajectory and get some support. And we're going to talk more about Mr. Right Academy as we move ahead, because that's one way you can get deep support in a loving group of women that are encouraging, supporting, and cheering each other on. It's like having your own lifeboat by your side while you're out there in the dating world. Okay, so then the next step I want you to take, if you want to take this even one step deeper, is just to envision the kind of man that you most would like to be with. And when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the heart and character qualities. I'm talking about who he would be. And I want you to list the must-haves, the things that are most critical. So for example, for me, and you can list more than 3, but list at least 3 must-haves that you must have in order to feel joyful, excited, inspired by this vision. For me, those would be someone who treats me and other people exquisitely and is a man of good character who I can trust, and someone that loves, cherishes, and adores me, and that we have the common values of what we want in a relationship and common core values in life. I think that was maybe 4, but you get the idea. Those are key must-haves for me. And you can do more than 3, but get clear about your must-haves. I'm talking about the heart and character qualities here, not necessarily exactly what he looks like. Okay, so then you can also write this down if this is helpful. Sometimes we have to think about what we don't want to get to what we do want, but ultimately we want to focus on what we do want. You can write down at least 3 deal killers, right? Think about that if you need to get to what you do want. We really want to focus on what you most want and the kind of person that you most want to be with. With my clients and in our Mr. Right Academy group, I have a series of exercises that I take you through that get you really, really, really crystal clear on this and get you so inspired that you can almost like see this man. You can almost see the shore. But in the meantime, I want to get you started and I want to give you some tools for getting started. I know it can feel like being out there in the fog and the waves and the wind and the sharks when you're out there in the dating world, but we need to keep our eyes on the shore and remember that you are closer than you might imagine. If you're here, you're already the kind of woman that has a dream that can inspire you in the direction of having the love that you want to have. One of the powerful things about the program is it is a step-by-step program to help move you from being in that place of wondering, questioning, maybe even doubting whether or not you can have the relationship of your dreams, the man of your dreams, and also giving you the tools and the support and the resources to meeting and attracting more high quality men, knowing how to communicate and connect, knowing how to establish a relationship and navigate the stages of dating so that you can ultimately have that relationship that you dream of. I promise you that it's out there. Our Mr. Right Academy program is one channel that is like having your own lifeboat when you're out there on that swim. And so I want to invite you to join us because we're only open for a short time and we haven't opened the program publicly for over a year. And I know you're going to love it. We have the most amazing women in it. We just had our class last night and it was amazing. So much deep support and love in there and everyone is cheering each other on. Like it's so much easier not to have to do this alone. Even Florence Chadwick, who had already swum the English Channel before she attempted this California swim, she still needed support. She still needed a lifeboat. She still needed people to cheer her on and be there to remind her of who she was, help her to get back in the water after that first time the fog overcame her so that she could accomplish her goal. And I'm here to take a stand for you. I believe in you and I believe in what is possible for you. And I'm excited about you being here. Okay, have a lovely day. Bye for now.